Coach, across the league, openers are always interesting. How do you like your group's ability to remain composed and come up with big plays down the stretch tonight?
I think that was it. We found a way. I think in this league you do have to find ways, even when it's not a pretty game. That fourth quarter was big for us, being able to get the timely stops. Dell getting big rebounds, making the extra effort on certain plays. You got to give credit to our fans as well. I mean, they turned up, and we talked about Jalen Suggs being back in the building and his energy to get the crowd involved consistently was big for us.
You mentioned Wendell's rebounds late and he had those free throws at the end. Just what does it say about him where maybe things didn't go his way the first three quarters and he's still impacting the game?
Beatty, that's the truth about him. And we've talked about him being a captain and for this team. He didn't let it rattle him. He did what he had to do to get himself together at halftime. We talked to him in the huddle. His teammates talked to him, and he found a way. And that says so much about that young man and his growth and what he's come through to be able to not be great in the first half, but he understands his presence for this team and his ability to stay poised and make big plays down the stretch because that's who he is.
Defensively, what did you want to see more of maybe from your team, or how would you have assessed their defensive performance going into tonight's game?
We'll have to go back and look at the film, for tonight, and then we'll review it tomorrow a little bit more. But, off the top, I'd have to say early on we didn't do a great job defending without fouling. We put them on the line 27 times. In the previous games, it was 34 and 38. So doing a better job defending without fouling, containing the basketball, those are some key pieces. You got to give Miami credit. They played hard. They hit some timely shots, some big shots early on. But our guys were able to keep their composure.
You talk about the composure and finding a way. What did you think about the way that the team kind of came together and kind of problem solved their way through some of the struggles that they had maybe in that second or third quarter and kind of found the grit they needed to pull this one out?
Well, that's the beauty of a 48-minute game. You have time. You have some time to find what you need to do to get together. They were doing a very good job of communicating with one another. You see down the stretch there were huddles talking about what they needed to do defensively. Oz was doing a great job down the stretch talking to the guys about what we needed to do. But their ability to communicate with one another, again, that's going to be big for us this year.
It's only one game, but it seems like there's a nice clear leap from Tristan already. He made a couple critical baskets there in the third. Just what did you see from him tonight and how impressive he was, providing that little spark, 16 points off the bench?
Exactly what we need from him throughout the year. Being able to come in, make timely shots, playing with a high level of confidence. I think playing this summer with the national team did wonders for him to know what we need from him, to not be afraid when he steps on the floor and play with that type of swagger.
Again, it just being one of 82. But when you look at young teams that make the jump, traditionally they're never always running it through one guy. Like tonight, Franz had the big first half. Desmond very quiet, and then he has a great line at the end. Paolo kind of slow for a minute, and he ends up with 24. What sort of luxury is it that you have an unselfish group, but you have a bunch of guys that you can run it through at any time, whichever way you want to go. What sort of a luxury is that to have three number one options, basically?
Like, those are good problems. Those are very good problems. I mean, you see down the stretch, we're trying to find a matchup. We go to Paolo and Desmond in the pick and roll when usually we go to Franz and Paolo in the pick and roll. Jalen's out there. He makes a big play. It says a lot about the guys that are not afraid of the moment, and they trust each other enough to make the right play at the right time. And they're all capable of making big-time plays, and they celebrate each other. And that's the beauty of this team, is our depth, our togetherness, and the focus that we have to continue to work for one another.
Jamal, looks and feels like Desmond has just fit like a glove into a missing finger in a glove. Can you talk about his fit and the pieces, the leadership and his skills brings to the group?
Well, he brings a calm, but he also brings a toughness. His ability to get guys together in huddles. You saw him bringing the group together down the stretch. I think it was maybe the 4:30 mark that he brought guys in. Jalen was over there, getting the crowd going, and Desmond brought everybody in. And I think his ability to do that for this group says a lot. And also making the right play, putting the ball in his hands down the stretch. He can handle it. Him and Paolo, two-man game pick and roll. To Tim's point, that's a luxury to have these guys down the stretch to be able to make big-time plays for one another.
Coach, congratulations. It is only one of 82, as people pointed out, but it's the first one. It's opening night. You beat a rival who you knew wasn't going to go down without a fight. What does that mean?
It means a lot. We say it about no matter what's happening with Miami, it's always going to come down to a close game. That's just the way Spo coaches that team. That's the culture they have. They're going to continue to fight. They're going to continue to grind the game. And I think that's the importance, and I say it now and I'll say it again, the importance of our fans and the support that we have. That got the building going. It got our energy up to string some stops together. But it is one of 82. And we'll go back and look at the film and see if we did the right things within our process and get these guys to continue to get better every day.
Jamal, last year we didn't get to see a lot of Franz and Paolo and Jalen on the floor at the same time, but to see that trio and the way that Desmond added in, just what did you think? How much comfort is there in that group and the way that they seem to work so well together?
It's going to be an ongoing process, but it was great to see because it had been a long time. I almost forgot what it looked like. But these guys, they've done such a great job at camp communicating and talking to each other and telling the others what they need, what they see. It is a tight group, and they can lean on each other. They can communicate to each other, call each other up for the right things, and that's what we're going to continue to see. And one of 82, but we'll take this one right now, and we'll continue to get better and keep building in the process that we're putting together.
Thank you, Coach Mose.
Thank you all.
Franz, you look across the NBA, and a lot of crazy things happen in openers. How did you like your group's ability to withstand the chaos and come up with big plays down the stretch?
Yeah, I thought not our best game, probably especially defensively, but a big shout out to Jay coming back out obviously after a couple months out, and Wendell. Didn't get a bunch of looks the whole game, and then basically wins us the game with two big rebounds. So it's important for us to go through these moments and understand that we need everybody to be locked in every moment, because you don't know which play can decide the game.
Franz, you've been a part of these Magic Heat battles in recent seasons where they've been low scoring. Tonight, both teams get over 120 points. What did you make of your team's defense and also the offense, pushing the pace?
Yeah, I think our offense is good. Like I said, in preseason, I thought we did a really good job of that. And, just learning these new habits that we want to have. And, I think defensively, it's just inconsistent right now. I thought the Heat played well, made some tough shots, especially in the first half. But I think about half of those, we can play better defense on. And, I think just being more consistent in your spots, moving when the ball moves. I think all these things will help us a lot.
Franz, your deceleration footwork on drives, finger rolls, Euro steps is so natural for you out there. How often do you work on those moves on a day-to-day thing? Is that something you're still working on, or is that just throughout your whole career?
I think it's just growing up, just doing a bunch of different type of layups and workouts, and playing around with different footwork and stuff like that. And obviously, I think in the game you try to improvise as much as possible and just kind of react to what's out there. So, definitely work on all that stuff.
Franz, I remember in the Philippines, Gordy said something to the effect of, before you can do something great, your guys have to really believe that they're capable of doing it. Do you get a similar feeling with this group than what you've had with what you've had with the national team the last few summers?
For sure. Obviously with the moves we made this summer, urgency is at an all-time high, and at least I feel like the guys that we added, not just on the court with their playing style, but with their demeanor and their character, I think fit us perfectly with what we needed. And add that to a really talented group that everybody got a lot better over the summer. Excited for what we can do.
Franz, there was 30 seconds left or so. Ball comes loose. Desmond Bane jumps on the ground. Jalen Suggs doesn't miss a beat, gets up, and starts getting the crowd going. What can you say about those two and how they feed off of each other?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I just talked about Bane, not just as a player, but that play shows his character. That he, he's a big time scorer, but he really wants to win, and does that type of play as well. And like I said, you don't know which play is going to win the game. And then Jay Suggs, pretty hard to find someone to after I don't know what it was, 8 months off, 6 for 7 plus 15. It's pretty impressive.
Just kind of building on that, in a season you're going to have games where you just kind of have to find a way where, maybe the defense doesn't have it. What does it say about this group, it being fairly new, Jay coming back, Des in his first game in a regular season game? What does it say about this group that you've found a way to kind of tighten the defense up and make the big plays when you had to?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got good character as a group, good mentality, in practice and stuff like that. So I think that showed up. But at the end of the day, we want to play better for the majority of the game, and but also understanding that you're going to be in these situations and you're not going to play perfectly every game. So it's good to come up with the W.
Thanks, Boogie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I mean, thank you, Boogie.
Paolo, you look across the league, and a lot of crazy things can happen in openers. How did you like your group's ability to handle the ups and downs and emotions of that and come up with big plays down the stretch?
Yeah, I just thought we stayed together, kept each other, even keeled, and just positive talk in the huddle, telling each other that we're gonna win this game and stay solid, get stops, and so we did.
We spoke this morning about Jalen's return. Just what impact did you feel out there with him out there again with the guys?
I mean, everybody saw it, him starting the game, hitting shots, defensively doing what he does. Can't say enough about just what he does for our team and the player he is. So it was great having him out there.
Paolo, 3 20-point scores on an opening night game. It's the second time ever in franchise history. How did you see Desmond integrate into the star power between you and Franz? How did you see him fit into your style?
Oh, yeah, he just, was being himself. That's what we've asked him to do from the day he's got here. It's just hunt his shots, be aggressive, and, let it fly. We trust him with the ball in his hands, whatever he decides to do with it. So I thought he played great.
Paolo, good to see you.
What's up,
man? For your first time, I mean, since you've been here, there's legitimate outside expectations for what you guys can do this season. One, how does that affect you, if at all? And two, I know this is just one game tonight, but what is capable? Like what is the ceiling for this team when you see the potential and all the options you guys have and the way you guys showed in just one game? How deeply you guys can dig to win one?
Yeah. The expectations are exciting. The pressure is exciting. It's a privilege for, people to think or have very high expectations for your team. And I think we just want to embrace that here. And, tonight I wouldn't say it was our best performance, but, we were still able to grind out the win and stick together. And, there was a lot of good as well. So going back, looking at what we can work on, and then taking the good as well and just being better from it. But, it was a very good first showing, and I think the sky's the limit for us.
How you doing, Paolo? One of the actions that has really worked for you and Bane, especially tonight, is just the pick and roll with Bane drawing 2 on the ball and you rolling. How do you like the looks the team has gotten out of those sets where you're able to take advantage of his on-ball gravity, your short roll playmaking, and then the play finishing of everyone?
Yeah, I was actually told him during the game, we got to, do more of that, just because, like you said, it causes such a problem. And, it was game 1, so just getting a feel for it. And obviously, he draws a lot of attention with the ball in his hands and coming off screen. So for me, being able to use that, be a screener, and, get easy looks.
Des, Paolo's talked about how you kind of had to grind this one out. Coach said, you got to find a way to win. In your first game together, what does it say about how you guys are coming together that you were able to kind of find a way to win this one and make those plays down the stretch?
Yeah, I think we're a together group. On the court, off the court, we trust each other. We got multiple guys in different positions. Guys coming up, making good plays. We go down the stretch. Like Pete said, we still got some things to iron out. It's good though. A close game, you learn from it, get better from it. So happy to win the first one. That boy Cole right there. That boy Cole.
Desmond, to experience a close game, a crowd that was high octane all night long, just what was your first experience, takeaway from the energy this crowd has?
It felt good. I ain't gonna lie. It's gonna be a good place to call home for sure.
Des, you've got Jalen Suggs coming in the game. He's in foul trouble in the beginning, but then he's able to kind of pick himself up. What is it like playing with a guy in the backcourt like that that's willing to put his body on the line, get that big charge with minutes to go in the game, and just making big plays down the stretch?
He's a game changer. He made a big shot on offense, big steal on defense, charge. As soon as the crowd started getting into it, we were in a timeout with like 3 minutes to go. He was like, come out, we get a stop or two, and this place going to explode. And, just ride that momentum to the end. Like I tell him all the time, he's the heart and soul of this thing. Without him, we still be a good ball club, but he's the guy that really puts us over the top.
Des, I just asked Paolo as you walked in, how do you like the looks the team is getting in the sets where you run pick and roll with Paolo, where you're on the ball, you're drawing multiple defenders on the ball, and Paolo's short roll playmaking is unlocked, and it just opens up the floor for everyone?
It's honestly, it's the first time I've ever been in pick and roll situations with somebody that's feared, more than me or equally as much as me. So I think we're getting exactly what we want. First play of the game, I hit him in the pocket and he makes a play. I think organizationally we got some things to clean up, but late game, I think that's something that we can definitely go to and thrive off of.
Desmond, tonight, about 30-some seconds left, you dive on the ball, gets loose, and then Jalen Suggs wastes no time, gets up, pumps up the crowd. How much fun is it to play with Suggs in front of this crowd?
Yeah, he's an Energizer bunny. He every time something happens, he pumping the crowd up. You know what I'm saying? So he bring that much needed juice for sure.
Hey Desmond, I know you're aware of the perimeter shooting problems the Magic has had in the past, and you're also aware that you are expected to be a big part of solving that. Was it important to hit those first couple? Did that give you a big lift?
I've been in the league this is my 6th season now, shots sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't, but we all trust our work. Everybody's been very consistent with their habits up to this point. So I don't think that it's, make or miss changes your mentality at all. You just trust your work and stay with it.
Des, to help this team win the first game of 82 and to help this team with your talent and with the talent they already have, just talk a little bit about helping this team get to the next level.
Yeah, we got work to do. It's always good to come out of here with a win, but we still got a long way to go. And like you said, it's the first to 82. It's a long journey. It doesn't happen overnight. So I'm excited to get a chance to watch the film and see where we can improve. But like I said, it's just good to get out of here with the first win in front of the home crowd.
Great. Thank you, Dennis.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. We will see you.